This is Martin. So above water, you have pretty good form. Hips might be just slightly low, but it's not really too much of an issue when you're moving along pretty quickly, which you are. Extension is good. It could be a little better, but I gotta say, I tell that to everybody. So that's a combination of just really practicing reaching as far as you can and flexibility out of the water. Breathing very comfortable. Your streamline or your rotation as a result of your extension is pretty good. So above water, you're looking at like very minor things to improve. Extension being the biggest one, but I tend to harp on it. It has, once you're reaching pretty well, you get very small improvements out of reaching even more, and you have to reach effectively, and you have to be able to catch effectively for that to work. So it's something you need to practice. You know, practice 50s at a certain effort level and see what your times look like swimming one way and then the other way. So this is a bit harder. So what we look at is are your hips and legs coming out of your streamline, and they're not, so that's good. On your left side, it looks like you might be able to, yeah, the rotation could be a little better on the left side when you're reaching forward. The line you're reaching forward there is pretty good. See how that left comes in slightly though? So it's sort of entering and then cutting in front of your head. You could just direct that forward from your shoulder. Okay, so strong pulls, like we discussed, so that's mostly a straight arm pull. So you can swim pretty well this way. It's just not quite as effective or efficient as a high elbow catch. Yeah, pretty good reach. Your line that you're reaching for there is pretty good. So everything here is really pretty good. It's just if you can get to a higher elbow position, or early vertical form is really the other way to say it, in the sense that you want to initiate that hand and forearm angling down as early as possible in the stroke. If you wait until later in the stroke, it's not as effective, which I see people do. Your kick looks fine. I don't see any problems there. Just make sure, you know, like I tell everybody, that you do some kicking in your workouts. So here we look at the sort of line that you take through the water when you're pulling. That looks fine as well. Didn't look too wide, didn't look like you were coming in under your body, so good there. So here we had discussed the catch, so we had to go right to one arm drill. And you are doing a better catch here. And at the end of the video, I put 2 freeze frames of you doing your one arm drill, so you could see the catch angle that you were getting there. The underwater version that we recorded. But that's a good pull there. The swim cords that we mentioned. So here you can see that catch right at the beginning. That's pretty good. It could be better, but this is one that just takes, you know, continued work, continued practice. But it's certainly improved from a swim technique, freestyle swim technique standpoint. That catch is better than when you swam the first time we recorded it. Same thing for the left arm there. So that's a better catch. But the swim cords that you could do out of the water, that'll be helpful.
This is working on the catch as well as possible.
All right, and then this was working on the catch as well, so good extension, good catch. This looks a lot better to me without going back and watching the beginning again. So your extension looks like you're really working on the extension now. And then when you add in that better catch angle, that looks pretty good. The rationale behind extending as well as possible is that when you stretch that lat out, the lat will work for you in the sense that it wants to contract back to its non-stretched out state. So it gives you some power or some performance boost just by putting it into an elongated state. Plus the added benefit of being in a slightly more hydrodynamic body position when you're extending as well as possible. So that looks pretty good. Alright, so these freeze frames are from the first time you swam without trying to work on catch. And like I said, the last two are the one-arm drill freeze frames. So here you can see you enter, extend, and then pretty much just starting to pull down. So a lot of this energy doesn't really pull your body forward too much until you get to really to that point. So, a quarter to a third of the stroke it moves you forward some, but not the way you would like. Alright, so this is left side. So entering, extending, so that extension you could get a little more on your side, but I'm not gonna pick on that too much. And then again with the straight arm pull, so you start pulling straight down. So that first couple frames there, not a whole lot of that is moving you forward. That's moving you forward. So it's just that beginning. If you can get a little more out of the beginning with your catch, you're gonna see a big time improvement. And then these last frames here, right arm, that's pretty good catch. And left arm, hard to see, but that's also a pretty good catch.